What we did with the old beach was we elevated it, and you can see we've created a platform. I think it's 25 meters across, if I'm remembering correctly. And the structure that surrounds it is a bentwood structure, and that's a type of Aboriginal-based architecture that would be used in teaching lodges in the creation of temporary and permanent structures. So what we have is that space enclosed by the bentwood structure. You can actually put additional cladding on it to make it more of a shelter. And the face of the wall of the circle has a series of paintings created by Roy Thomas's son, Randy Thomas, who was successful in a juried art competition for that particular site. So there's a whole series of woodland style Aboriginal art that is actually incised into metal, into Corten metal. So very beautiful. On the slope above, you can see seating, and we created the seating actually by salvaging trees that we had to take down in another park because of road widening. And it really creates sort of a very rustic kind of seating, but very, very appropriate to this particular site. So we'll just go up onto the headland. So the concept of this space was developed with a young Aboriginal architect called Ryan Gorey, and he worked with the principal architects, Brooke McElroy, to develop the concept of this ceremonial circle. Now, if you look at it from above, what you'll see is that it's in an abstract shape of a turtle, and it's aligned with the cardinal points, so that it has great significance with the Aboriginal communities, and certainly the folks that we worked with to develop the concept. What's really amazing about this space, when I think about it now and I think about it the way it was before, in spite of the fact that we've enclosed it, it actually seems so much larger here than it ever did before. So it's really quite remarkable what, you know, programming and designing space can do. So part of what we did throughout the site, and you'll see as we go all the way through, is there's a strong interpretation of the local cultural history here. And of course, one of the biggest stories is Nanabiju, which is the story of the sleeping giant out in the harbor. And so what we've done here is we've shown, and there's also no consistent bona fide legend. So what we're showing here is a couple different versions of that legend. Oh, and those are our families. My goodness, they've got quite the pack, don't they? Flotillas of geese. So the two metal structures that you see there, they look like brackets. There's sort of one behind the sail building, and there's another one on Pier 3. Those are sort of 60-foot structures, steel I-beam structures, and they're animated with public art. So when you actually see them in the nighttime, there's a series of Morse code lights that tell a story, and there's a voice at the bottom that you also hear. So it's voice motion activated. You go out and you'll hear storytelling there. Actually, I haven't even seen all of this stuff up and in detail. When we opened the park in December, I was still in cancer treatment, so I wasn't able to really make my way around the park and see everything. So it's really exciting to get a chance to look at it all. So there's a series of 9 panels here. The middle panel is created by Roy Thomas, and the other of the 9 panels are created by Randy Thomas, his son. And they're basically all of the different elements. So thunder, keeping tradition, people of Turtle Island. So there's a whole, it's all themed around the Aboriginal history of the site. Early on, when we were doing the master plan, Roy Thomas had a concept of a turtle on these lands. And originally, one of the concepts was a building that was turtle-shaped and that had a range of uses in it. But over the course of time, the design evolved into this space, which I think is a lot more flexible in terms of its ability to be used.